Episode 6 of Severance is once again an amazing episode of TV. I am just loving this show so much. I love its offbeat, weird comedy and just that menacing undertone of just this workplace horror thriller. It's just such a great combination of everything. And once again, there's a lot of mysteries, a couple of revelations, and there's one big thing, and I have a big new theory about what they could possibly be doing. But before we get to that, I have to talk about the most mysterious part of this episode and the thing I'm most curious about. How the hell did Adam Scott get that battery and phone into the bin? Just bam bam, doesn't even look, just chucks it right in the bin. The bin's like half a foot open. It's not even like a full open bin. Even if it was just a full open bin, lid completely off, I'd still be impressed. He doesn't even look, he's just like bam bam, in the bin, double shot. Incredible. I really want to know, and all I really want to know now, I mean, Severance mysteries, who cares? All I want to know is how many takes did that take? How many takes did that take? 100? A billion? 3. Maybe he got it in 1. Oh my god, that would be so amazing. Honestly, I couldn't get over how impressed I was. I felt like I was watching a sports game. I got up and cheered. I'm like, what a shot! What a shot, Adam Scott! So, if no one else is here to appreciate Adam Scott's amazing basketball skills, I am. I mean, not really basketball, I guess it's phone flicking skills, but still, got a thing in a thing, throwing a thing. It's basketball-esque, I guess. I don't know. I don't really watch basketball. So one of the central mysteries of this whole show is kind of like, what are they doing? Why have they severenced people? What is Lumen doing? And this episode, I think, kind of suggests or hints towards quite a weird, nefarious thing that I hadn't kind of thought about at first. So this episode at first implies, due to the pregnant lady, that she has been kind of severanced, just like randomly throughout the day, like little bits and pieces. Then when Devon's doing some investigating, because she's like, what the hell's going on with that pregnant lady? She like had a different name for the baby and kind of doesn't remember me. And it's just seeming real weird. Like she was potentially severanced for like a little bit of time. And then, turns out, her husband is some senator, some sleazy politician man, and maybe, and this is my big theory, he is severancing her whenever he kind of disagrees with her. Like, he gets in a fight with her, and she's like, I want to name the baby William. And he's like, William, I don't like that. And she's like, well, you know, let's have a discussion. And he's like, or, I'm going to severance this and cut this part of your brain out. So, maybe he's doing that. Maybe that's why he's like, legalize severancing. I want to do this and not be judged for taking away my wife's memories. Because I'm a piece of shit? Maybe. I mean, allegedly. This is, who knows? These are just speculations. Don't get angry at me, Mr. Politician Man. But you're shady! I don't trust you! I don't trust you for 1 second. And it's not even just because you're a politician. Even though, who trusts a politician? You're a madman if you trust the politician character. They're always shady and, you know, corrupt. But yeah, I see him as now the new villain. I see him as one of maybe the masterminds, maybe on the board of directors that we never see and barely hear. So yeah, I've got my eye on you, Politician Man. And then I think the theory is kind of like almost explicitly just like revealed is that the severance isn't just like a timer or isn't like a half your day. It could just be switched on and off like a switch. It could just be flicked like a switch, off, on, like a switch. Crazy. I was always kind of presuming that the reason they had to kind of leave at the exact time, like at one point he's like, it's 5:15, Mark, you gotta get out of here. It doesn't matter if she's hung herself, get out of here, is because the severance isn't necessarily just them going through like the elevator and like a machine or whatever's happening, but their brains clocked into like, you get 10 hours here, 8 hours here, or whatever it is, you know, with the time schedule. So it's like a specific amount of time that they're severanced, and that kind of just switches over like a switch. But now we see Dylan at home, and he just gets, boom, back into his severance working life while at home, stuck in a closet. And he's like, oh my God, is this my house? Are these my clothes? Amazing. Completely trippy. So suddenly the idea that severance isn't just like a half and half kind of situation, it can just be turned on and off at any point. So my big theory, also because of Dylan stealing the card, and the card had like karate or self-defense kind of instructions on all that kind of like educational fighty kind of things, and apparently it's a big deal that he stole it, like a super big deal, more of a big deal than them drawing the maps or finding the goat department or whatever. So my big theory is that maybe they are using Severance to create sleeper agents, like proper sleeper agents. Because if you're just like living your life at home, just being like, I work for Severance, but I don't know what that means. Or maybe you don't even know you're being Severanced, like the pregnant lady, and you're just living your life like, and then suddenly they just flick a switch, and then boom, you're suddenly this different person who could be a serial killer murder monster man, or an agent, like an assassin, like a spy. Maybe the goats are like some kind of training exercise. Like they've got a, you know, like in Kingsman where they're like, you gotta have this puppy, and then at the end of the thing, you gotta kill this puppy to prove that you're like a super secret spy with no remorse and love or whatever. This theory is completely wild and insane and probably totally, completely wrong, but I don't know, just something about the idea of like, why would you use Severance? Like, why would you create Severance? Like, what kind of purpose would it have? But a sleeper agent would be the perfect thing. They would have no idea, because the two separate people are just so separate. They have no idea about each other. It would just be the perfect way to hide sleeper agents to do whatever you want. I mean, they don't have to be assassins, spy, killers. They could just be, you know, spies in that boring sense where they're just, you know, collecting data or information. You just flick a switch on and off, boom, boom, boom. And then the person living the normal life would have no idea. They'd have no idea that they were, you know, being a spy or whatever. It'd be such an interesting way for them to kind of applicate this kind of thing, this Severance thing, and it'd be such a nefarious, big government, big company kind of thing. And so I think, I don't know, it just kind of is totally making sense to me right now. Presumably next week, something will happen and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. How could I possibly have thought that they were making spies and sleeper agents? What was I thinking? It would definitely be taking the series in kind of a bizarre, different direction, but I kind of think it would fit. Like, this show is pretty high concept and insane. And for most of it, it's kind of very human and kind of very contained in that kind of like, work's hell, oh man, 9 to 5, oh boy, don't like going to work, and that kind of thing. But I love the idea that it would kind of blow out into this crazy, insane sci-fi thing where Lumen is like doing this. Like, you could be just walking down the street and then they flick a switch, you'd turn around and be like, bang, 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 kill 5 people, flick the switch, and then suddenly you'd be there with your dog screaming, being like, oh my god, who shot this person? Like, just like that. Like, I don't know. The applications are terrifying and huge and insane, and you could just do so much with it. I'm calling it. They're making sleeper agent spies. Nothing else makes sense. I'm sure a lot of, you know, things make sense, and this is probably just the insane ramblings of an insane man. But I can't think of anything else right now. Feels like it's all connecting. But then again, I guess I came to secret agent spies because I saw a card that had someone doing jujitsu or whatever, or just tackling a man. But they were so scared that he had it. They were so like, this is dangerous. You can't have this. I'm coming to your house. So it seemed like protocol had gone, like the security measures had just kind of skyrocketed. So it must be very important. Maybe one of the other departments is like psycho training people, like in the Matrix, where they plug someone in and they wake up and they're like, I know Kung Fu now. Or whatever. I don't know. At the end of the episode, this lady's like, he answers the phone and he gets it out of the bin after his sweet chucking it in the bin. He's like, actually, I changed my mind. Of course you did, Mark. Of course you did. Lucky the bins weren't taken away for trash day. And so then when the phone starts ringing and he talks to this lady, suddenly I got this super like spy kind of situation feeling. You know, the way she's like, meet me in a dark, mysterious place and we'll talk. And then she's like, follow me. We can't talk here. That's classic spy shit. So maybe this is actually like a spy show in some way. So we have a few more huge moments when Dylan gets his Severance flicked on and off and he's at his home. His son runs into the closet and he sees, so work Dylan now knows he has a son and he's so surprised and so shocked, and so am I. I don't know, the way the character was being presented, I did not expect him to have a family. So I don't know, this blew my mind. I'm so excited to see more of him. Just when we saw him in like the non-work setting, I was like giddy. I was so excited. I was like, we're finally going to see someone. And to see it in this way, like revealing the Severance being switched on and off, but also revealing that he has a kid, just amazing. This show is always surprising and exciting me. I'm so excited to see where this is going to go. And I'm a little terrified as to why Dylan has decided to be severed. Because the personal life Dylan seems to love his kid. He wasn't like, get out of here, kid. He was just like, go, we're done. Get back. So I don't know. Why does he hate his life so much that he wants to shut off for 8 hours a day? Or I don't know, maybe he was being tricked as well, the way that potentially Holly's been tricked into being like, Severance is for the greater good. For the greater good. Who knows at this point? I'm super excited to see where that's going. Another moment I absolutely loved was when John Turturro and Christopher Walken are there in this little garden area with all these plants and stuff, and they're like, this is our secret little oasis, our little garden of lovemaking area. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, they're actually gonna fuck. Finally they're gonna fuck. Yes, please. I'm all here for it. But then John Turturro's like, I'm not ready. And it was so, I don't know, so beautiful. And he was being so kind of raw and like open at that point. It was such a beautiful little scene. The way Christopher Walken just has his head resting on him and he's just like just stay here, just hold me. Just such a beautiful little moment. I absolutely love their romance. It's so cute and adorable. I'm just loving it so much. And the way it's kind of developing in such an organic way, and it feels like such a bright spot in the darkness that is Lumen and the severance of it all. Speaking of darkness and horrific awfulness, Harmony is now the babysitter nanny for Devon's baby, and even though the music and the humming and Devon and her husband were like, oh, this nanny's real good. She made the baby stop crying, and she's like, and it's all seemingly beautiful and nice. The feeling of dread and horror I had when she was just holding the baby, just the fact the way she slithered into their family's life, obviously to kind of, keep a closer eye on Mark or to have some kind of leverage on him in the real world, just horrific and disgusting. Like, she hasn't just done this for her job, like, her job is working at Lumen. And so doing this nanny act, just, I'm not here for it. Absolutely horrific. Don't bring the baby into this. Not the baby. He's innocent. Mark's character is finally going against the work, going against Lumen, and he's all like, you and me, us departments, both our departments, we should team up and figure out what's going on with all these baby goats or whatever. I love how he's suddenly like, hey, this is all completely screwed up, because it's completely screwed up. And suddenly the detective hunt, the mystery is going to slowly unravel, and I'm super excited to see how it's all going to play out. I love the fact that the other department's like, we've got these water can thingies. What do we do? I don't really know. What does anyone do here? I don't really know. But it's mysterious and important, I guess. And everyone's just completely clueless. It is so surreal and insane. I absolutely love it. Some hilarious comedy in this episode to do with all of that kind of stuff. This episode focused a lot more on the outside personal life of Mark this episode, and I thought that was really, really great. Great to see him kind of have some emotional moments where he's talking about his dead wife, some really beautifully written and acted scenes, some really, really heartfelt stuff. Loved it all. And then he gets laid. Thank God, he seemed like he needed to, and it was just a great scene. And then to have that kind of final sting where he's like being led into the darkness by some mysterious woman who potentially knows some sinister stuff about Lumen. Super exciting. What a way to end the episode. I just cannot wait for more. I'm so in. This show is so amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know everyone's thoughts, theories, speculation, all the things about Severance.